Hey, it's me, Hilichurl, here in protest because we built the Jade Chamber and Ningguang didn't fucking pay us. Well, no, not really, but I'm back, so let me give you the rundown. To be honest, I had originally intended for this to be a tutorial, but when I went to check the block count, well yeah, that's a lot of blocks. Yeah, nope. No sir, we ain't gonna do a block for block tutorial today. So instead, I'm gonna walk you through the build process, and I'll take you up close to a few designs that I think are particularly interesting. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I've got a preview of a Genshin build that I think will be even bigger and better than the Jade Chamber itself. Alright, so let's get to it. Now, I know it's pretty common for builders to begin by first outlining their build. But, personally, and especially if I'm building from reference, I find it a lot easier to locate a focal point and start building outwards from there. The starting point can be anywhere on the build, but in general it should be a point that connects to other major components. For example, the Jade Chamber's central tower is a great place to start. Choosing such a focal point will allow you to set the size and dimensions for the rest of the build, as well as overall themes, block palette, and designs which can be applied throughout. In my case, I chose to start with the base of the central tower without using too much scaffolding. I then built a bridge connecting the central tower to one of the outer towers, and I used the length of the bridge to dictate the dimensions for the rest of the build. Also, while I was building, I had some wandering traders spawn in for a visit, though they would usually walk off the ledges after a few minutes before I could check their trades. Dumbass. As I built up the sides of the central tower, I thought I'd showcase a few designs I'm particularly happy with. You can go ahead and pause if you need some more time with these, but they're essentially varied placements on stairs, slabs, and trapdoors, which I think adds some nice detailing to the rest of the build. Another design I'm particularly happy with is the use of alternating signs and trapdoors. Now, I'll be honest, I've never really been a huge fan of fences, especially when they're used diagonally, but I came up with this design as a replacement, and I think it turned out pretty okay. Now let's move on to building the bridge. As I said before, I knew that the dimensions of the central tower and bridge would dictate the dimensions for the rest of the build, so I knew I had to get this part right. World Edit actually came in pretty clutch in this regard. After I had built half of the bridge, all I did was use the copy, rotate 180, and paste commands to paste in the other half. And after pasting in the bridge, I started work on one of the outer towers, maintaining design consistency with the designs I'd used in the central one. I made it about halfway before I realized that the dimensions between the two towers were a bit too similar. World Edit was great here again because it let me segment the central tower and expand the dimensions by a few blocks in either direction. After I finished readjusting the build, I went back to the outer tower and completed it. I needed at least one outer tower and bridge finished so I could use the copy and paste commands to again save some more time. The middle outer tower was taller than the other two, but the designs were pretty similar so I could still copy, paste, and build upwards from there. When that was done, all I had to do was connect the towers together. I used gold blocks to outline the dimensions, then built walls and roofs around that. Now the only tower left is the central one. And to be honest, out of the whole build, this part was the most fun I had building. The main arches were especially fun to iterate on, and while they took a few tries, I eventually settled on a mixture of stairs, slabs, and walls. The in-game Jade Chamber has a bit of a marble texture to it, so I thought I'd texture the sandstone with some calcite. And mixing in walls adds some depth to the build, which in turn indicates structure. Now we're in the home stretch, and the rest of the build is actually pretty simple. Since we can draw dimensions from the rest of the build, all we really have to do is come up with designs for one portion, then use the copy, rotate, and paste functions in World Edit to finish up. After that, it's just some finishing touches and we're basically done. Hey, if you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around until the end. Now, before we preview some upcoming builds, I have a few channel updates to make. While I do want to become more consistent with uploads, I don't think this style of content is very feasible. Trying to render clips for this video, or for any of my previous videos, has always put a stop to my workflow. The rendering process can also take hours, which is a pretty big issue since I use my computer in a professional capacity as well. So, moving forward, most of my content is going to be a lot less produced. I'm planning to introduce some Genshin videos to the channel, maybe a Minecraft hardcore let's play, as well as some block for block tutorials too. Now, that being said, I haven't given up on cinematic Minecraft videos. They'll just be fewer and further between, and mostly reserved for larger builds. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Now I present to you a preview of Mondstadt.